Well, I'm Matthew Grindrod. I'll be with you for the next few minutes, so let's crack on. I'd like to start tonight by talking about something which is very important to me. Well, I say important. Horse racing. What I'd like to do one day is own several horses with various confusing, conflicting names, and then enter them all into the same race, just to confuse everyone listening along at home. This is how I imagine it going in my head. Yes, very good afternoon to you, and welcome to this year's Tom Boddice Grand Royale horse racing thingy. The contenders are all lining up at the start, but just before we get started, there have been a few late withdrawals from the race, including the allegations were never proved, oh dear God, they're coming out of the walls, and the favourite, personally, I always thought horse tasted better anyway. Looks like we're just waiting for the starter, has in fact been allowed to run, and they're off! They're underway! They're underway! Races into an early lead, so their underway is out in front. Following their underway is just behind, just behind, just behind. Is going strong, but going strong is on the outside. And on the outside is that rather sinister looking horse. And as they approach the first now, is currently at the back of the field as the first jump comes into view. And there are some horses down. I can't see who appears to be down, along with some rather nasty business. And it seems that Jeremy Clarkson's face has also fallen. Several riders still in contention now, making progress on the inside line, but the inside line not letting him past. Silver medal now runs into pole position, and they both fall. Going strong moves into first place, now he's in the lead. Moves into third, just behind, and around the bend they go. He's trying to make up some ground. And with 1 furlong to go, has it all to do now as we approach the final jump of this surprisingly short race course. The leaders are all clear, has fallen. What a marvellous recovery there, has also fallen. Horse racing is a rather flawed concept. And now the horse formerly known as Prince, now moves into 5th place. And now it appears to be a 2-horse race, is dropping behind, just behind and going strong. But now a photo finish looks likely. Yes, he takes the inside line, he leaves in his dust, and it's all over! We'll have to settle for 4th place this year. As a photo finish claims the title just behind is going strong. Looks like we're just out of time here, but I think it's worth saying, I'm a professional horse racing commentator. Do you love me now, mother? Only finished in 8th place. So that could affect the championship. I hope to see you all at next year's race. For now, goodbye. Thank you. What I'd like to do, very briefly, is talk about the remainder of my act. It's going to consist of a collection of puns and one-liners. Now, not everyone's on board with the one-liner, so every now and then, to help even things out, and maybe if a joke doesn't go so well, I'm going to read an entry from this book of German vocabulary. Because we all know one-liners and German vocabulary are just 2 sides of the same coin. Usually when I do this, there isn't a German in the room. Way. It's just going to sound like I'm reading out the dictionary. There's more to it than that. For example, say, pick a number between 1 and 100, and I'll read something from the page. 7, you say. Excellent. Staubsauger. Vacuum cleaner. Okay. That's it. I live in a house made of shoelaces. I've just been doing it up. No, I actually live in a giant blackboard. It's had a bit of work done on it. Actually, redesigning my house, trying to get it to look more like a tree. I've been sprucing it up. I like to think what it would be like if famous singer-songwriters had been a bit more lazy, a bit less creative when writing the songs we know and love so well today. So, for example, Guns N' Roses, they're sort of, take me down to the paradise city where the grass is green, and not everything has to rhyme. Or Kenny Loggins, how different would Top Gun be if it was more sort of highway to the comfort zone? Or finally, Carly Simon, imagine you're so vague. This song may or may not be about you. So I got a step ladder, because my real ladder left me when I was just a child. Spent this afternoon watching episodes of Steptoe and Son, because my real episodes of Toe and Son left me when I was just a child. I asked my mate if he wanted to go hunting. He said, sure, I'm game. So I shot him. Contemporary bowling teams go on strike. Or did they just split and then go spare before they end up in a gutter, down an alley? Pig. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Those were the days. What's your favourite number?
60.
It's a good number. On to page 8. Brustwarze. Nipple. I'm led to believe it translates as breastwort. I've got to love those jokes. I'm on your side. Now it goes without saying. Reincarnations, they're to die for. Discount fishing line, it's the real deal. Drilling holes, that's boring. I thought I'd forgotten how to throw a boomerang, but it came back to me. I remember the time I made a short artistic film. It was just a single shot of a whale's limb. Fin. I remember the time I was caught hiding LSD, MDMA. I was thrown out of the Scrabble Society. I remember the time I held a vinyl edition of that James Brown song World for longer than anyone else, so I was the world record holder. I then went on to destroy more copies of that Alanis Morissette song, Break, so I was the last person to break the Break and Break record. I spent a lot of time listening to Steppenwolf, because my real wolf left me when I was just a child. I did a joke about jumping on the bandwagon, but then everyone started doing it. They started jumping on my jumping on the bandwagon. And what you're doing now is jumping on my jumping on the bandwagon. That was originally part of a 2.5-minute routine that culminated in the following punchline. Then they all started jumping on the jumping the gun, on the jumping on the jumping the shark, on the jumping on the jumping on the jumping on the bandwagon. I spent about half an hour trying to write that properly and not get lost in the many layers of bandwagons. And because of that, I now know that I hate bandwagons. And now, so do you. Welcome to the bandwagon. I'll be leaving you shortly, ladies and gentlemen. Before I go, you've been lovely, but I've got one final word for you. It's quite possibly my favourite German word, which says a lot about me. But you know, I don't want any lies here. We've all got a favourite German word. This word, to my mind, was clearly invented by a German losing at Scrabble. Okay, the word is shutdown, and for me, one possible translation is to remove the stones from underneath a train track, thus rendering the train track unusable. They really do have a word for absolutely everything. I've been Matthew Grindrod, you've been lovely. Good evening.